Why European trucks are better. There's always has been a tussle between European and American trucks. Europeans always make fun of Americans for their big-nosed mammoths. So what exactly are big-nosed mammoths? When we think about American trucks, the image that comes to our minds is a massive Coca-Cola truck with a big nose. Due to this, Europeans always make fun of Americans for their big-nosed American semi-trucks. You actually do not have to be a trucker to see the differences between European semi-trucks and American semi-trucks. Each has a distinct shape and style that serves different driving purposes. And because of the differences in regulations and roads, European trucks would not work in the States and American trucks would not work in Europe. In Europe, we usually see cab-over trucks. This means that the cabin is situated above the engine. This allows creating flat front surface and the entire truck with its trailer has a cuboid shape. Meanwhile, trucks used in US, Australia, and in many other countries in the world feature something called conventional cab design. This means that the cabin is behind the engine. Drivers are sitting further away from the actual front of the truck and look over the long engine cover when driving. So why in various places in the world different designs prevail? One of the differences between European and American trucking is that owner-operators are quite common in the US and not so much in Europe. These people own their own trucks and live in them for months at a time. Semi-trucks with conventional cabs feature long wheelbase, which makes them a little more comfortable. Also, they tend to have a lot of room inside. Owners of their trucks include huge living compartments, something not common in Europe. Without the engine under the cabin, getting in and out of the truck is easier because the cabin is a little lower. Another advantage of a conventional cab design is that the truck can be more economical. Surely, they usually pull heavier loads, but if there were two trucks, one a cab over and another one a conventional cab design, and they had the same powertrain and the same cargo, the conventional cab truck would use less fuel. Of course, that is just in theory, and there are too many factors to consider. Finally, the engine in conventional cab truck is easier to maintain and fix because it is extremely easy to reach. However, cab-over trucks do have their own advantages. The square shape of the cab-over truck means that it is easier to place the truck close to other vehicles or objects. European semi-trucks are also lighter and have shorter wheelbase, which makes them significantly easier to maneuver. They are more compact and easier to work with in traffic and urban environments. But what are other reasons why different truck designs prevailed in the US and not in Europe? So here we will tell you why European and American trucks are so different. The maximum length of a truck with a semi-trailer in Europe is 18.75 meters. Some countries have some exceptions, but that is the rule. To use the maximum of the length of the cargo, the tractor unit must be as short as possible. The best way to achieve that is to mount the cabin over the engine. Similar requirements in the US have been revoked back in 1986 and trucks now can be much longer. Back in the day, cab-over trucks were quite popular in the US, but without strict limitations, roomier and more convenient to live with conventional design trucks prevail. The number of cab-over trucks in the US is constantly declining. Another reason is speed. In Europe, semi-trucks are limited to just 90 kilometers per hour, but in some places in the US, trucks reach 129 and even 137 kilometers per hour. That is where better aerodynamics and longer wheelbase help a lot. Finally, roads in the US and Europe are quite different as well. Cities in the US have wide streets and interstate highways are very straight and wide. In Europe, trucks must deal with narrow streets, winding country roads, and cramped parking spaces. Lack of space limitations allowed Australia to use conventional cab trucks too. That is also why Australian highways feature well-known road trains. Extremely long distances and straight roads allow semi-trucks to pull up to 4 trailers. European trucks are smaller and more maneuverable. As mentioned earlier, strict regulations in Europe make for different trucks. For starters, a European semi-truck can only be 18.75 meters or about 61 feet. Meanwhile, American trucks can tow multiple trailers at a time. Because of these restrictions, European trucks must be smaller so they can tow more cargo. Considering American cabs can be 20 feet long, that only leaves 40 feet of room for cargo. The cab-over-engine design of European trucks allows for the cab itself to be less than 10 feet long, and because owner-operators are rare and the hours of the road are shorter, European trucks do not require large sleeper cabins or living spaces, but the shorter cabin also creates a shorter wheelbase, which improves handling. US trucks only look better since they are mostly A. Conventional trucks instead of cabovers, and B. In the US they have to have bling bling for the drivers, since many drivers in the US are owner operators and they want their trucks to look impressive for their customers and other truckers. While in Europe, most lorry drivers are just employees of a big company since they do not own their lorries. It doesn't matter how much the lorries look, other than having fresh paint and being clean. The big companies don't care about a lot of chrome, bull bars, or nice wheels. Many people think Euro trucks were smaller, but this is either not the case and are only due to the local and EU laws, which often do not allow more than 44 tons GVW. The technology, from engine to brake power, from frames to gearboxes, etc., can or could handle loads for up to 120 tons or more. Many Euro trucks handle loads of 100 to 300 tons on a daily basis in their export markets like Africa, Latin America, or Asia, or on private ground such as mines or forests, where no weight restrictions actually apply. US trucks may be more suited for the US and other third world countries. However, since their technology is rather primitive and hence they can be repaired easily by lesser skilled engineers as well. Europe has interstate system, but the roads are windier and the lanes are narrower. That is why it is crucial that the truck can navigate skinny city streets, and a cab-over design makes that possible. They also do not need massive engines, since semi-trucks in Europe are limited to just 55 miles per hour. Despite having small trucks and all their advantages, Europeans are still facing a shortage of trucks as per their demands, and one of the prominent reasons behind it is low wages and poor quality of life. So it will not be wrong to say that both Europe and American trucks